Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the show. Hope you're having a great Christmas. Happy holidays, however you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah to you guys, our Jewish friends. No matter what walk of life you're in, no matter what you believe, we just are so appreciative that you are here with us today and talking Alabama. That's Mike Johnson. I'm Mick Gillispie. Lots to get into. College football playoff round one. We got the matchups that Mike won it. We'll talk about that right after I play his open. Oh, yeah, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. In the A, he's in Atlanta.
See, you're already firing shots, man, and I don't appreciate it because I came in, I was like, man, it's going to be fun. Let's just have a little fun, a little Christmas episode. Record something for the people that are traveling over the holidays, and you went right for it, man.
We've had some great shows, though, man. Spirited debates, and I love reading.
Yeah, look, man. You decided to go right in with the whole college football playoff bracket. I don't regret my words.
You told me, give me some good Bama news, and then come on, yeah, I got something for you, and then pow, let's go, man.
Can I be real with everybody for a second, right? So obviously, Bama is central to my heart and everything that I love and know and love, and following the team this time of year right now is a little bit difficult. I think everybody listening probably feels that way. So we appeal to the likes of Mick Gillispie and Clint Lamb and the guys on Next Round to be able to get our news in, man. And everything with me for the past week has been Michael Penix Jr. over here for the Atlanta Falcons, right? So I'm like scrambling to kind of get caught up on all the latest news and see if Caden Proctor is practicing and see, who the latest signees are and seeing if LSU or Ole Miss are trying to poach anybody else from our roster and how many millions they're offering to lure people away from Alabama. So, look, man, I need the good news from Mick Gillispie, dude. And you just went right into the CFP bracket. Like you're just, all right. Dude, let's just go. So
let me fulfill your wish. Bama over the weekend landed 3 players out of the portal. So they're up to number 2 now when you talk to, about the recruiting class because of the portal. Which they've done really well. But Cam Dewberry, an offensive lineman, one of your guys, transferring from Texas A&M. Guy saw starts this year, dealt with some injuries, but he's a really good player. Isaiah Horton, wide receiver, transfer out of Miami, caught a lot of balls this year. He's a big target, someone that Kalen DeBoer really wanted, got him. And the Kai Hill Green, who is from my hometown, Baltimore. He played at Michigan, transferred to Colorado. He's a linebacker that models his game after my favorite player in football history, Ray Lewis. Ray. So he's a hard hitter, man. And we needed linebacking help. So I'm happy about all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, I was, Ray and Ray Lewis in the city of Atlanta have their own storied history.
I knew you were going there, man. I knew you.
I was going to say I'm not going to go there right now, but
you just did.
No, man. I mean, like, if you don't know about Ray Lewis and Buckhead, then you can look that up for yourself, man. But yeah, man. Look, I saw the lineman from A&M come in, the guy from Colorado, the linebacker, and what's interesting to me, and maybe you can help me out, because I was asked, what I think Kalen DeBoer's sales pitch is, other than, you're going to the University of Alabama. And I don't know, like, this is what I struggle with, Mick, is like, is he giving sales pitches now? Or is it simply a matter of our general manager talking to these guys' agents? I mean, I know some of these guys get on campus and do the tour and everything like that and get a chance to meet Coach DeBoer, but seems like a lot of this stuff is kind of handled before some of these guys land, or in some cases, as we've seen for Bama players, some of the stuff is handled before you even enter the portal. So, I don't know what Kalen DeBoer's sales pitch is. I don't know what the sales pitch is otherwise from these players transferring away from these other schools. It just seems like hopefully it's a fit thing, a relationship thing, and these guys want a chance to play for the Crimson Tide. So, I don't know what kind of quotes have come out of some of these situations, but these guys I'm happy to have them. You got to fill some of these seats from some of these guys that have been exiting the picture, and seems like it's a good time to be playing for Bama moving forward, at least.
Yeah, well, he's done well in the transfer portal. I mean, his entire career, since they've had it.
Yeah.
And that's how Washington built the roster to get to the championship game a year ago. So the roster management is also part of this. I mean, there's only so many guys you can take when you don't have that many spots. You got to see who's going to the draft and who's not. You loved Booker, right? I mean, you think he's one of the best players that Bama's had. I agree too. Him and Brailsford, to me, are two amazing offensive linemen, and Brailsford may be back.
Yeah, it looks like Brailsford might be back as well. But I know that Brailsford said a couple weeks ago he'd be back and this, that, and the other, but it seems like you don't ever know on a day-to-day basis, right? I mean, it seems like one day the guy's leaving and one guy's backing out of this, one guy's breaking this, and one guy's entering the portal. I don't know. I think it's important. I like the fact that a lot of these guys are playing in the bowl game. I think that's awesome. I think that speaks to the character of the locker room. Still kind of waiting to see what happens with Jalen Milroe, but you and I talked about it last week. Some of the conversation going around in my neck of the woods over here in Georgia is about Carson Beck, kind of in a similar situation. Like, what's the situation like if you return to the school? What if you go pro? Where's your future at? And then on the open market as a free agent in college football, there's a lot of money, being laid out there to some of these guys. So I don't know, man. It seems like a musical chairs act for quarterbacks right now inside of the SEC and really the entire country, the big market team. So we'll see what happens, but looking forward to the matchup with Michigan, and we'll see what happens from there.
We talked about the college football playoff, and we saw the college football playoff. The matchups turned out to be terrible. Tennessee let the SEC down. They got absolutely drummed against Ohio State, and I didn't really see that one coming. I mean, I knew Ohio State would win. I think they're going to win it all. They went out and spent $20 million on their roster, and in the offseason, and there's a lot of these teams didn't spend nearly that. They've got a good roster. But with that said, they did lose to Michigan. Whatever they did, they figured it out. They killed Tennessee. SMU and Indiana didn't belong in this. They didn't beat anybody, and they hadn't beaten anybody still. And then Clemson, hung in there with Texas. That was the only game that was even entertaining.
It was the only game that you even thought that there was a mild chance that the road team might be able to pull off a victory, right? And, look, I know that Cade Klubnik, Quinn Ewers go back a little bit, Texas guys, and they played a little bit in their younger days against one another. Arch Manning played a bigger role than I thought he would for Texas, honestly, in watching those games. I really thought that SMU – not that I thought that SMU would win, but I didn't think they would look so outclassed. Like it was like they had no answer for what was going on and some of the things that they were being asked to do. So hats off to Penn State, hats off to Ohio State and some of these other teams for being able to get it done. But now I say it feels like the real games are about to start, but you and I have seen it. Bama's been in some of these games. Even the semifinals back 5-6 years ago were terrible football games. So we'll see. I don't know how it's all going to iron out, but it seems like there's still, and you and I said it both going in, it seems like there's 5 of the 12 teams that really have a shot at it. Mm-hmm. And that obviously has probably been narrowed down just a little bit.
I said this on Twitter. I had my best day on Twitter ever Saturday, taking shots at the college.
Did you get some interactions?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. And one of them was that I said that the college football playoff needed Bama more than Bama needed them after watching that, and then you can argue about the Oklahoma game and all of that stuff, but Bama's not going to any of these places and getting blown out. They might have lost. They didn't show up against Oklahoma, but these are all like letdown games. Every game that mattered, every game that was like a hype game, Bama came in and played, a game, and just from a TV fan standpoint, it would have just been nice to have Bama play Penn State, where at least you got one game where you're going, man, this is intriguing. SMU, we knew exactly what was going to happen there. It was the TV ratings for this are going to be disastrous.
You think so? Honestly, the ticket prices were disastrous from what I could tell. Not that there weren't sellouts, but you could get into the Penn State game for $60. You could, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I think there's I think there's multiple levels to that. You know, I think a lot of it's time of year. I think it's saturation. I think it's upcoming travel for some of these teams when you add the rounds and conference championships and everything else. And I think it's the state of college football. And really, that goes along with the transfer portal stuff and everything else that's going on. And, you know, you and I had a chance to talk about it a little bit last week and hopped on with the guys, the next round guys, and talked about it. And I know that a lot of fans are frustrated from that aspect. So it stinks because this is such a cool deal, and it feels like it doesn't have the momentum that it probably did going in. And I know the CFP people are probably really hoping that these next round of games kind of live up to the hype.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I just think that well, first off, the playoff needs to expand, and it's not because we need more of these great games. It's because it just needs to expand because nobody cares about the rest of these bowl games. I mean, it's hard to get hyped up about the ReliaQuest Bowl with Alabama again. And honestly, I mean, you know, for Alabama, you're the first team out, and then you're playing in a bowl game that would have been, you know, like this is one of the worst bowl games Bama's played in a long, long time. When you talk about like the rating of these bowl games, I can't remember when they slid down this far in a bowl game, you know, like, you know, I'm talking about the years where like this would be like Sugar Bowl or something, you know, like, no, this is going back to like Sabin's first couple years type of bowl game.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Independence Bowl his first year.
What's that?
What's that? I was going to say his Independence Bowl the first year, and then Sugar.
I was there.
Sugar National Championship. I think Capital One was 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, look, man, I'm with you, but the first thing you have to do is get the contract situated to where, you know, guys aren't opting out and hitting the portal. The schedule, you know, I'm talking about the calendar and the contract situation where, you know, guys aren't opting out, because you're going to get into a situation, Mick, if you expand to 16, there's a good chance the 16 seed, like some of their players are leaving, and that's not a good look either. So I'm with you. Look, here's the first thing on my mind in terms of this college football playoff schedule. I want the top seeds to have the home games. I don't really care about the bye as much as I do the home games. Like the home game, like that look of like Happy Valley and the horseshoe and everything else, that was to me what college football is all about. I hate that these, like, it's cool they got a bye, but to me, one of the bonuses of being in the playoff and being the top 4 seeds should probably be the fact that you get a game on campus. So
yeah, right.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you rearrange the bowl schedule. I know that some of these bowls are kind of set in stone and things, and the Rose Bowl has their own deal and everything else going on. But there's just so many other things before you expand that I think that I'd like to see happen with these games.
Well, they're going to expand this thing to 16 or whatever. Just why not just throw all these teams in? I mean, like, really, what's the difference between SMU and Miami, or SMU and, you know, some of these other set like Michigan? I mean, really, like, who cares? They're all going to lose anyway.
Could have got in Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Miami and just knocked it out and just
put all of them in. But then you start looking and you're like, you know what, though, that's only going to save a couple more bowl games. I mean, you just like they do in the subdivisions below. You just have a bunch of teams playing, and then it's eventually going to work into the best teams are going to be there at the end. And I just think that it adds a lot of interest to. Like, I was never for this. I'm going to tell you, like, I was always a guy that said I didn't want it to expand because I knew that the first round was going to look like this, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, if we had 2 teams playing and it was, you know, what would it be? Oregon against Georgia. That's fine with me. I'd take that championship game, and all this other stuff I could live without, but we didn't do that. And now we got a playoff committee that is biased, picking teams that didn't beat anybody, giving buys to teams that don't deserve it, in my opinion. And we got this terrible bracket, and I'm going, man, just let everybody in, because that's what you guys want to do anyway. And we'll just have like a big ass tournament. And you know what? Like, see what happens. And what's going to happen is Georgia's still going to play Oregon at the end. You know what?
We need some common sense that's taking it. And you know what really irritates me? You know, the other day, Coach Sabin's on game day, and he says, well, players shouldn't be able to transfer for the bowl games. And the first thing, I think it was Awful Announcing, the website, Twitter handle, and all that, they come out and they're like, Nick Saban says players shouldn't be able to transfer before the bowl game. Nick Saban left Michigan State 25 years ago to go to LSU or whatever. Well, LSU, and I'm like, okay, like, do you agree with what he said or not? Or are we just going to do the what about us thing where it's like, well, what about what you did? Because it's either the right or the wrong thing. We're either trying to save college football or we're not. All right, we're either trying to make good rules or we're not. We can't go, hey, let's go back a quarter century,
Right.
and the guy that's saying this, let's see if there was any hypocrisy to what he's doing. College football was completely different a quarter century ago. I don't know if anybody's recognized this, but 25, 30 years ago, it was a completely different ordeal,
Right.
and the coaching things were different ordeals. So I don't know, man. I got so frustrated with that over the weekend because it's like, Coach Sabin is obviously in the media and he does all these things, and it's like nobody wants to listen to him because something might have happened 25 years ago. Like, it's the best thing for the bowl games not to be able to have players transfer out, have that transfer portal window before the college football playoff starts. This is common sense.
Yeah, there's no choice anymore. There's no choice. Like, make this a big ass tournament and you save the bowl games and people aren't transferring out and people have something to play for. And well,
not only that, but we've got to sign these kids contracts. And I've been saying it along. I don't know legislative why, like, I don't like as far as the government goes. And I know that they've got their hand in this, but these kids just have to sign contracts. There's just no two ways about it. You have to, if you're going to make money from the bowl game and, you got revenue sharing that's going to be coming along next year and everything else, they've got to stick around. They can't just be like, oh, I know I've been playing for this team all year, but, December 18th is here and I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, you just can't have that if this is going to continue to be a product that you're trying to serve up to, to TV executives and whatever else, man. It's bad. Like, it's just the Penn State backup kid leaving before it just
unbelievable. All right. You brought something up that I want to get your opinion on. Comedian Shane Gillis inferred that Bama paid players. He called Nick Saban Alabama Jones, which was pretty disrespectful, but funny at the same time. I thought Saban's retort to him was perfect. It just feels like that sentiment is the problem that Alabama has, is that people want to make excuses for, or that people want to throw shade on the fact that Nick Saban kicked their ass for so long.
Yeah, and that's the funny part, is that people try to act like that Alabama is not the only one with whispers like this going on, right? I mean, like, let's not act we're done. And I've told you, man, off the air, on the air, whatever it is, I've never received a dime from Alabama. I'm not saying that it never happened. I'd never witnessed it. I don't know that it happened personally. I don't have any firsthand info. You've met my friends that I'm still friends with from Alabama. We weren't exactly a crop of dudes that were going to, muster up, 6-figure offers to go on official visits. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And Lord knows when I was being recruited, we were under sanctions at Alabama. Mike Shula was going by the book with things and everything else. But I mean, I'm seeing like videos of like Channing Crowder on his podcast. He's like, I got $250 to go on a visit to NC State and like all this stuff. And I'm sitting there going, but you would never hear Shane Gillis get on there and talk crap to Dave Doran. It's like it's because Nick Saban beat everybody's butt for so long. You know what I mean? And he did it better than anybody else. And so I find it hilarious because if you want to make the accusation that Nick Saban was doing it at Alabama, then all of a sudden Kirby's pulling in number one classes at Georgia. And where do you think he learned how to recruit from? You know what I mean? Like, so it's how far out does this thing branch? Does a Jimbo Fisher doing that? Obviously Jeremy Pruitt, kind of a little bit before his time, getting caught red-handed. I love JP. But I mean, like, how far are we going to extend this thing? I mean, Lord knows that Hugh Freeze has had his own issues. I mean, how far are we going to branch out? So I hate that Shane Gillis, and I like Shane Gillis. I think he's funny, man, but it is what it is, man. Coach Saban's a grown man. He puts himself out, makes a lot of money to do media these days. You and I both know he's a little bit socially awkward, so being in those situations with a comedian is probably not the best look for College Game Day and everything else. They might want to avoid that in the future, and that's like, I mean, it's one step short of Shane Gillis picking on Lee Corso. It's so bad, dude. So I don't know, man. He's a big boy. He can take care of himself. I was asked about it today. Did it upset me? It didn't upset me. Just it is what it is. It's one of those things where people get upset, at the guy who was on top of the mountain for a while.
Yeah. Well, for a long time on top of the mountain. So, well, it's fun though. I do love Nick Saban on the show. I thought that his outfit was awesome. Where he had like the thing on and then the hat. He kind of looked like the villain in what's that? I'm trying to think of the Star Wars show that comes on Disney Plus.
I don't know about that. I thought you were going to go with like the rest of
Mandalorian. He looked like the bad guy in one of those episodes of Mandalorian. Like
I thought you were going to go with the old cartoon, The Rescuers Down Under. You know,
he looked like Crocodile Jack up there.
Oh man,
hi mates.
Oh man, that's funny right there.
Up here,
but I'm with you, dude. I think he does a great job. I think he does a phenomenal job, man. And obviously, who's better to ask? I think he's way better than Belichick has been on TV. So take that for what it is. I guess that's why Belichick has found his way back into college football. You know, I was asked the other day when Belichick took that job. I think you and I did a show, and then like shortly after, somebody was like, "What if, given the right situation, like Nick was offered like a Division III job where there's like no scholarships or something?" And I was like, I don't think that he would want to go that route, but I never thought Belichick would either. So it's an interesting time, man. It's a really interesting time in college football.
It certainly is. So finally, Mike, are you ready for Christmas, man? You got everything ready for Christmas. I mean, you seem like a guy that hits the malls. Oh
yeah, that's me.
Turbo Man 5000.
Yeah, no, man. I was upset. I got 5 or so gifts from my wife. I found out yesterday that one of them was not going to make it on time, which was semi devastating. But we're good, man. My parents are coming in town, heading up Pensacola. Actually, probably getting here any minute now. The big unit is in tow, and we're going to kick back some cold units and watch some sports, whatever's on TV. I guess the NFL's on Netflix, and we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I'm sure it's the same way in your house. I shop for my wife, she shops for everybody else. God bless her. So we'll see what comes out of that, man. But I'm just trying to put a smile on her face, and hopefully that kind of translates to the rest of the holiday.
Love your Christmas card, man. You guys look fantastic.
Did you get that?
Yeah, man. That Merry Christmas.
Hey, shout out to my wife then, because I know
thank you.
I don't ever know who's on the list. I think it just carried over from our wedding invite list. I think
somebody's mad right now, Mike.
Right. I think the Evite address book just carried over. So if you made the cut, it's kind of a big deal in the Johnson house. So,
yeah, baby.
Shout out to you, man. That's big.
Yeah, love it, man. I love the cards. There was a time when we would have a refrigerator full of Christmas cards, man. I guess in the digital age, you just don't get the Christmas cards that you used to. You might, but we don't. We used to get them.
No, man. Look,
the door frame, the refrigerator. I loved it.
Well, you know why they're making a comeback with I'm 37. They're making a comeback, I think, with I guess what would be millennials. And I don't know if you're a millennial or not. I think millennials stops at 41 right now.
Yeah, I'm in that neighborhood, but not.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, you know why it's making a comeback, right? It's because it's all you do is you upload your photos and they mail them out. Nice. You don't do any of it, dude. It's crazy. You used to be that you get the stamps and you put the stamps on the thing and you write out all the addresses. No, dude. You have your address book on Evite or whatever it is, the not.com or whatever, and this is what I want my card to be, and boom, it's gone. It's just out there. You just pay a fee and it's just gone. So making a little bit of a comeback. My wife always does it. Here's your tip of the day for people out there. My wife takes all the cards, right? When Christmas is done in a few days, she'll take them off the door she puts them on, and then she punches holes in the corner of them, kind of puts a little hook through, and then she puts them with the rest of the Christmas decorations. And then when next Christmas comes out, she lays out on the coffee table all the years of the Christmas cards we've got. So people come over and they flip through and they're like, oh, there's my card from 2019. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah. So there you go. I thought that was a brilliant idea, man. So shout out to my wife, obviously.
Yeah. That is a great idea. Man, you got me wanting to do Christmas cards again. Kind of slow.
Are you a New Year's resolution guy? I guess we can cross that off the list.
Dude, let's do it. Good thought for next show, because now I got to think about it. I'm heavily in a diet right now, losing some weight, feeling better. Not quite there yet, beginning there. And I'm going to Key West the day after Christmas.
That boy, gonna get the buns out, suns out, buns out.
I'm just gonna, man, got to do it. We normally go after Bama gets in the championship game.
I don't know why, dude. I just pictured you in a Speedo down there in Key West, and I about spit my water out, man, like a busted can of biscuits down there, man. Just to
whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you got. Captain Tony, I'll be at your place. Green Parrot, I'll see you. Not as much Irish Kevin guy, but I might swing in there. There's a couple other places I like to go. Maybe find some new holes, but play some Buffett. Get me down there, and then I use it as a staff retreat. I make a bunch of notes, stuff that I want to do in the next year. It's the staff retreat. I call it the staff retreat, Mike.
Oh, well, I hope you're able to find some new holes down there. That's
watering holes, buddy. Watering holes. I'm just gonna cut this show off right here. You're gonna make some people unhappy this Christmas right here with all your talk. Hey, let me remind you guys of this though. As Mike cracks himself.
Oh my god!
And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Promo code next round, 300% deposit bonus for the casino and 50 free spins using the next round code or 50% off. 50% sign up bonus. So it's the other way, 50% sign up bonus for the sports book. Mybookie.ag, promo code next round. You done, or you got anything?
That's all I got, dude. That's that's 3 times in the last 10 minutes I've almost spit my water out. Battling a little something, so I just got the water on hand, man. But you're on another level today, buddy.
Like the one time I'd stayed up drinking the night before when we did the show. It was like I'd been in the Bama.
A little bit aloof.
Oh, yeah. I was just definitely in a different zone. Today I'm rested, man. Rested, happy, it's the holiday time. And honestly, look, man, I'm not a Christmas guy. I want to make Christmas happy for the kids, my niece, nephew, son. And then come 26, it's about me.
Yeah, is that what it is? All right.
It's about
this guy, man.
Hey, probably next time we talk, I'll be on my way to the Keys.
Well, look, man, I hope you have a good time down there, and you find whatever you need to find, a good time or whatever, a new friend. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be.
Look, dude, see this? Stopping to see Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead in Fort Lauderdale on the way. Boca, going to be in Boca. To see Father Carl at Ascension Church. Got it, basically guided me through when I was a kid to being a sports guy, and he's still at it. So I'm gonna go by his gonna go check Mass out. Hopefully the place don't burn down, and then get over there to the Keys just in time for the new year.
Yeah, man. Say a couple of Hail Marys for me, if you will. Yeah, please.
Hey guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and also Roll Tide, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.